Hey there. So, I want to talk to you today about the way tools can evolve and shift and grow to fit your needs. The tool that I want to use as an example of how tools can shift for your needs is a tool that I've used for a while now, since I was in college, and it is the monthly assessment or quarterly assessment. This is different from a review. An assessment, in my opinion, is part of a review because you do the assessment and then use that data from completing that assessment to make decisions about habits and lessons learned and upcoming goals. So I'm going to walk you through the evolution of my personal assessment and how it's helped me in reviewing what to focus on. So, the very first assessment tool that I used was the BetterMe.org Clean Sweep Assessment. And I have no idea how I discovered this actually. I feel like it was a Google find. But I was really just looking for a way to assess where I was in life. And this assessment, I believe it's 100 questions, and it had four categories. So, physical environment, well being, money, and relationships. And I would take this assessment and use my score out of 100 to see how I was. I think around the first time I took it, I was like somewhere in the 70s. I was like, that's a C, unacceptable, and would consistently work towards improving on things that were not checked off. So at one point, my personal files, papers, and receipts were not neatly filed away. Today they are, but when I first started out with this assessment, that wasn't the case. And, you know, just really was using this tool to see if I have a pretty good balance in my money, my relationships, my well-being, and my physical environment. And then I created my own assessment, and this assessment has grown over time as I've found other assessments. So it started off as I feel like it was just like a Word doc, and then it evolved to this type form that I started using, and I had these 10 areas, which were a combination of the 10 areas from Lisa Nichols' assessment that she had on her website, in junction with questions from this clean sweep assessment, and then questions that I had in general about these areas of life. So as you can see here, I had body and health, and I had 10 questions, yes or no, simple questions. Am I getting the right amount of sleep to wake up feeling energized? Do I have healthy ways of managing stress and relaxing? Do I rarely get sick? Do I love my body? And I would go through this form of an assessment. The difficult thing with this is that the way the back end of the results came out, I still had to tally because the way that Typeform exports their spreadsheets, I am not a Excel genius, so there's a lot of counting involved in this form of review. So what I started to do after this, one of my best friends, May is a spreadsheet genius, and I shared this with her when I was practicing coaching people and sharing an assessment as a tool to get them prepared for coaching. She took the assessment. I was like, you know what? I turned it into a spreadsheet, and so she shared with me her formula for the spreadsheet, and it was amazing. So I'm actually got this in the wrong order. So this is where I shifted. So I've been doing this assessment probably since 2009, 2010. It evolved into the type form, and then 2015 is when May shifted me into the future. And so you'll see here, I still have on the far left all of the different categories in those 10 questions. And in order to indicate whether it's a yes or no, no is zero, and a one is yes. So I would just go through and ask myself these questions and indicate on the particular month. So you see the months are going across here, what my tally is, what my score is for it. So as you can see, in 2015, I was tired a lot. Jesus Christ. It wasn't until the end of that year that I started to get a little more rest and then going back in. And so in doing my review this way, I could go through and see, okay, in any given month, what are the highlights in my life? What are the areas that are doing well? What are the areas that are doing the worst? What are the habits that I'm enacting that are allowing these areas to thrive? and the good areas to thrive, and where are the habits that I'm lacking that are causing me to fail in a certain area. So if you can see here, November, the month that you see at the top is typically the month I did the review, not the month that I'm reviewing. So doing a review in November, on November 8th of 2015 is really my review for October of 2015. So you can see October was not the best month for me in 2015. My career and personal development was in a really, really, really low place. And this is actually the month right before I quit my job to do my business full time. So it's appropriate that the score felt that low. And then my community and contribution in the past few months prior, it felt like it was at a 10. I was contributing as much as I could. And then I was at a point where I felt like I wasn't contributing half as much as I was in prior months. And so this is funny that this is a reflection of how I felt right before quitting that job. I just felt like I wasn't in balance. And actually quit my job November of 2015. So you can see in December of 2015 how that shifted just from from October to November. You can see how my body and health improved, how my physical environment improved, probably because I was at home and had time to clean. My career and personal development improved because I was full time doing what I wanted to do for a living. You see that my finances didn't really drastically change, even though I was self-employed, and life started to get better. And so you can see, I can look at this and see sort of what was going on in my life, when I look at the the spring of 2015, I had some rough months with career. So I was feeling a little unsure. I thought I made this huge move that was appropriate for me, only to find out maybe this isn't what I want, feeling a little lost again. And so this is an interesting tool. And what I did towards the end of the year, I used this up until December of last year, and then did some averaging. And obviously, I am not a spreadsheet guru, so May cracked up when I showed her how my average tabs looked at the end. She's like, "You know how to round things in Google Sheets?" I don't know how to round in Google Sheets, but I learned. Anywho, so you can see here, on average, where I landed for these 1.5 years, right? So I started a new one for 2017. So this tool continues to evolve. Not only do I have here my averages from 2016, and still, didn't fix that decimal thing, but I know how to sum it up here. This actually uses the formula. I figured out that formula. Anywho, so I have the averages, but you'll see here that I added 2 new categories. And so I added love and intimacy and romance because I wanted to focus more on my intimate relationship with my husband. And I added intellectual life because I felt like I wasn't focusing on that as a priority. And some of the names of these categories changed too. So finance changed to wealth and finance because it's more than just money. So things like that. And one thing I did is I reevaluated if these questions actually, because at a certain point, some of these things felt a little stagnant, like I was always checking yes. And obviously, we want to grow out of our comfort zone. So, I updated a few of these questions to push me a little bit. So, like, I'm very good at what I do was not a question that I was asking myself before in my career, right? I was asking myself, am I taking the responsibility for my education and career aspirations, which now probably fits more under intellectual life, but starting to ask myself different questions to then be able to assess my progress. And this total now is a little bit skewed, right? Because it's not out of 100, it's out of 120. So this is an example of how a personal growth tool that you're using can evolve. You don't have to feel like your gratitude journal has to look the exact same year after year, or your monthly review, or your meditation format. Those things can grow as you grow. So hopefully this was interesting or helpful for you. And if you have any questions about any of these tools, feel free to reach out.